I'm going to hit no tip every time. If I'm at Starbucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, or a place that you really not serving me, and you turn that little iPad around and says, gonna ask you a little question, I'm gonna look you dead in your face, and I'm gonna click no tip.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Erin, so let's not waste no time. Let's hop right into these insane tipping culture rants in the year 2025.
I'm just here to say that if you are not providing me a service, I'm not providing you a tip. Do not ask me to tip you on top of what you want me to pay you for a product that you are selling. That is insane to me. That is crazy work. Y'all getting real greedy out here. No, just charge what you want to charge for the product. Let people pay for it or they won't. But don't ask for a tip on top of a product. Baby, you didn't do nothing for me. Y'all crazy.
Tipping culture has really gotten out of hand. I just had a van driver ask me and my crew what was going on with our flight attendants because we don't tip. First of all, sir, we couldn't even find you when we walked out the airport and it was like 12:30 at night. 2, you was talking shit while you were putting our bags in, talking about why were you calling? I was right here.
How do you have the audacity to have bad customer service and then have an attitude about a tip? Be so for real.
Okay, we didn't see you. 3, you didn't have the AC on when we got in the car. It's 100 degrees and 100% humidity out here in Savannah, Georgia. 4, don't ask for a tip. Tipping is optional. It is not mandatory. If I feel like you deserve my dollar, I will give it to you. Clearly, we didn't feel that way because of all of the reasons I just listed. Like, I don't understand why people think they are entitled to other people's money. Like, what? I should have asked him if he tips his flight attendants when they bring him drinks and food when he travels. I wonder what his answer would have been.
One thing I don't give a fuck about is leaving a goddamn tip and how you feel about it. Because at the end of the motherfucking day, if I pay for what I was supposed to fucking pay for, and if I decide to leave you a tip out of courtesy, out of my motherfucking heart and my motherfucking wallet, then bitch, I will do that. The problem is that y'all choose to apply for these sorry ass jobs. Okay? You apply for that motherfucking job. You are the one who played your whole motherfucking life. You didn't want to pay attention in school. You didn't want to do the shit you were supposed to ensure that you would have a decent ass job to pay your motherfucking rent. And then you get a job like DoorDash or a waitress or whatever the case may be that you applied for. And then you be upset when a motherfucker like me don't leave you no motherfucking tip. Bitch, I don't give a damn. Because when I go to work, I don't expect the bitch to leave me a motherfucking tip because I know everything is going to be on my paycheck plus commission. Huh? Step your motherfucking cookies up, ho, before they crumble, because at the end of the day, no one is forcing you to have that goddamn job.
Okay, y'all, this is so random, but I absolutely love when people say goddamn. I don't know why, it just be so funny to me. When you add goddamn to something, that let people know that you is not playing. Like, stop goddamn playing with me. For real.
Quiz.
I just left Olive Garden to pick up a catering order, and they asked me did I want a tip. Am I tripping? Because I said no. So I ordered a pan of baked ziti for an Easter dinner I'm going to tomorrow. And when I get there, the girl behind the counter is like, oh, it'll be XYZ the cost. And I'm like, I already paid online before I checked out. And she's like, well, I'm not seeing that. And I immediately said, please get the manager, because I don't know about y'all. This new staff they have in restaurants these days have zero training. I used to work in restaurants, okay? The customer service is the bars in hell. Manager comes over, and she's like, oh, I see where you paid. There's just a hold there in case you want to add more for a tip. I said, a tip for a to-go catering order? No. And I take my bag, and I leave. And as I'm walking out the door, I hear a little bitch behind the counter talking about, that was rude. And I turned around and I said, excuse me, did you say something? And she's like, have a good day. Girl, I heard what the fuck you said, but I'm on their turf. I'm not about to get jumped in Olive Garden by the wait staff. But am I tripping? Like, why would I tip on a catering order, a pan that nobody served me anything? I'm not eating it there. Literally all you did was put it in the bag. Am I tripping?
If you don't have money to tip your server and you go out to eat and don't tip your server, I have zero respect for you.
Paint me out to be the villain here, because I'm not. I'm just going to share my opinion. I've never been a server, but I never would because I know the nonsense that they have to deal with on a daily basis, and I know I cannot manage it. I automatically respect someone who was or is a server. However, we need to stop blaming the customers and calling them cheap and stingy just because they don't tip, because tipping is not mandatory. It is a choice. 98% of the time when I go out to eat, I tip because my service is at least good. It just has to be good in order for you to get a tip. If your service is bad to the point where I don't want to come back, I'm not giving you a tip. But it is not the customer's job to pay your wage. We need to be taking this up with companies who are not paying their staff enough money. Tipping culture has gone insane in America. A lot of places nowadays add the gratuity to your receipt, so you don't even have the choice to choose how much you want to tip if you want to tip. Blame the wage makers, not the customers.
As a former DoorDash girly, I know what it's like to get tips, and I also know what it's like to not get a tip. And as I look back on my previous behavior and the way that I used to think, I was dead wrong. Because nobody owed me nothing. It's not nobody's fault that I chose to do DoorDash full time. That was all on me. So I see both sides of the coin. But I really feel like sometimes people really just be wilding. Like when it comes to people not tipping, it's like nobody owe you nothing. Like nobody owed me nothing. So when I was mad, I was wrong. Because nobody forced me to do DoorDash. I did that on my own free will. So, I get it. Trust me.
I'm going to hit no tip every time. If I'm at Starbucks, Buffalo Wild Wings, or a place that you really not serving me, and you turn that little iPad around and says it's going to ask you a little question, I'm going to look you dead in your face, and I'm going to click no tip.
You know tipping culture is bad in America when I have to go to custom tip and manually put 0. They are so petty that they will do anything in their power to make you start at 18%. And if you don't want to do that bullshit, you have to go to custom tip and manually type it. To whoever designed that thinking it would bring in more money, I can tell you right now that it's completely backfiring. I think most people would tip if it just started at 10 or 15%. But if you're starting your tip at 18% and you're making the page unskippable, I will gladly take the time to go to custom tip and put a fat fucking 0.
There is no freaking way. I just went to go get froyo, where you make it yourself. Okay, I'm sitting there with my little bowl and I put my ice cream in, and then I move over to my favorite section, the toppings, okay? And I put in some chocolate covered strawberries, some brownies, and then I move over to the little section where you have to weigh your ice cream and it gives you the total. And not gonna lie, y'all, that was some expensive froyo, but anything to make my stomach happy, of course. And so I take out my wallet, pull out my card, and I'm tapping it, and it's not working. So I was like, okay, maybe I can swipe it. I swipe it and it's still not going through. And I was low-key getting embarrassed because like there's people behind me. And the worker comes up to me and he's like, it's not going through because it's asking you to tip. I was like, oh. And he was like, press the bottom right corner. And I was like, the no tip? And he goes, yeah, we don't get those tips anyway. The owner keeps them. If we don't get paid enough. I was like, oh, but I'm just here for my froyo, okay? But like, I think it's crazy that these self-serve places are asking you to tip and the owners are keeping it. Like, that makes no sense.
I'm literally at the airport at the self-checkout machine buying a water. Self-checkout. Who is this even going to? Like, I'm again at self-checkout.
I'm so over tipping culture. I just went to Dutch Bros and the girl was doing her thing, asking me, hey, how are you doing? Do you want to go ahead and answer this quick question that's at the bottom of my screen? And it was asking for a tip. And I just feel like if you're already spending $8-9 on a drink, like, I just don't know why I should have to leave a tip for you. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Do you guys tip? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Why am I being asked to tip 20% for someone to hand me a pizza? I went to go pick up my pizza, $20 pizza at a takeout pizza place, and I was asked to tip 20%. And when I declined to tip, I felt awkward because I got a look from the cashier. Listen, I'm not anti-tipping. I just don't understand why we're being asked to tip on basic services that we never were before. I get it if I'm sitting down at a restaurant and a server's coming up and they're catering to me, but when I'm going to pick up something that used to never have a tipping service and now there is, I'm just really confused. What's going on? I kind of feel like if your employer's not paying you a living wage, then why are you working there? Does anyone else think tipping culture has just gone too far?
I don't know if this is bitchy, but I just went to Alfred's, got a matcha with lavender, and then I went to Joe's and got a Joe's Club, which is like a chicken sandwich kind of vibe. Let's actually look at it. And every place I go to these days, there's an option to tip. And don't get me wrong, I'll definitely tip
if you're bringing me my food and if the service is great, I'll even tip more than the 18%. But I just feel like if I'm walking my ass in, going to the counter, I'm not tipping. I don't know if that's cheap, but I just don't feel the need to tip if I'm walking up to an establishment. It's just like, you're not serving me my food. Am I wrong? Am I the only one that thinks this way? I don't know. Unless I'm being served, tipping is just out of the question for me.
Unpopular opinion, I think tipping culture is stupid. I'm not saying you shouldn't tip, but I'm saying if you work in a tipped industry, you shouldn't be mad when people don't. Like, I'm struggling to think of any other job or industry where you get mad at the customer for not paying you instead of your employer for not paying you enough. Like, if I own a lawn care company and I want to be really cheap, so I decide to charge 20 bucks a yard, and it costs me 4 hours to cut somebody's grass, and after 4 hours they only pay me $20, who should I be mad at? Should I be mad at the person who paid the $20, or should I be mad at myself for setting the price? Or like, if I'm working retail as a cashier and I'm only getting $7.25 an hour, do I get mad at the customer or do I get mad at the company? But if you're a server or a waitress or a bartender, you know that it only pays what, like $2-3 an hour, $5 an hour. So like, yeah, you're supposed to make that up with tips, but you know everybody's not gonna tip. And I really think you should be more mad at the restaurant for not paying you more money than people for not tipping. Like I could be wrong, but I think in like other countries, like it's not this big a deal. Like in Europe and shit, they pay their people a fair wage. And yeah, that's gonna get passed on to the consumer, higher prices, whatever. But I think that's more fair than expecting, you know, an extra 20-30% on top of your meal just for a tip. Especially when it's expected and you act like you're entitled to it. That's where you start to lose people.
Listen, tipping culture has gotten out of control. The fact that you go to a boutique, you go to just like a normal place that you're shopping or whatever, or a place where they literally didn't even do anything for you. Like they just rang up your order and they turn that freaking iPad around and it's like starts at 20% and goes up to like 30%. What? Like if I go to a restaurant, from the moment my butt sits down in that booth, that you are tending to every freaking need that I have, yeah, I'm gonna tip you, and I'm gonna tip you good. I'm a hairstylist, okay? So I get tipping culture to an extent, but excuse me, companies need to start paying their workers more, and they need to stop putting it on us. We are already financially struggling, or at least we don't need to be paying that extra 20%. And it takes so many more clicks to go back in and do a custom tip, even if you're going to leave a tip. It's so much harder to not leave a tip. And they do that on purpose. So that when they hire somebody, they're like, I know that it's like low, but like you're going to make extra tips. So technically you're going to be making like a lot more than what that looks like.
Did I miss something? Because I'm completely confused. So I just go to Dairy Queen to get an ice cream and a Blizzard for Doodlebug. So my total was $7.68. So I gave the lady $8 in cash. So she takes my $8 and she says, a minute later, she comes back to the window. Do you really want your 32 cents? And I looked a little confused. I said, yes. So she kind of got an attitude. Okay. So she closes the window. So I'm sitting here like, why would I not want my change? I'm just a little confused. So she comes back and she's going to give me the 32 cents. And I'm like, do people not normally want their change? Because I'm confused by what the hell just happened. And she says, well, you know, people normally tip. The fuck? What is going on with this tipping culture? I fully understand tipping when I am getting a service done outside of their normal job. Like if I'm ordering groceries, if I am going to a restaurant and they are serving me my food, if I'm at, you know, wherever that they do not make a full salary.
what the hell am I tipping you for? You're already getting paid to work at Dairy Queen. So what am I tipping you more for? I am confused as hell. So now she has an attitude because I want my 32 cents and change. Absolutely, I want my 32 cents. The fuck is wrong? Look, y'all have gone too far with this tipping culture, period.
I have something on my chest that I've been dying to get off my chest, and I may get hate for it, but that's fine. Why are we tipping Starbucks employees? The drinks be $1 million. The tip not included in that? Like, the drinks are overpriced, and now I have to tip you on top of that. What? Why? I'm already coming here for the expensive drink, and you want me to add a couple more dollars because you brought it to me? I don't like that.
This may be controversial, but I'm not tipping percentages. It makes no sense to me that because something costs more, I'm tipping more.
These are my rules for tipping. If you're just ringing me up, you're not getting a tip. If I put all of my froyo together with all of my little Cocoa Puffs and gummies and whatever goodness I want, and you're just ringing me up, you're just weighing the thing and ringing me up, you're not getting a tip. Not by me. If I go to a restaurant and I get really bad service, you're still getting a tip. You're still getting a tip. Because it's so unfair that you're getting paid $4 an hour. And honestly, it's not even my fault. It's not my fault that your employer decides to pay you $4 an hour and that you have to live off of tips. But you know what? That's the world we live in today. So you're still getting a tip. You don't deserve it though. Right? You deserve it in the sense that everyone deserves to get paid at least minimum wage. But come on. Come on. Now here's where it gets tricky. If you did really, really good service and you gave me all the recommendations, you shied me away from the soup that's made yesterday, it was bad, I don't know, then you're probably gonna get 20%. You're probably gonna get 20%. If you did an okay job, you're gonna get 18. If you did an awful job, you're gonna get 15.
Honestly, girly, some people wouldn't have gave them a tip at all, so I'm pretty sure they'll be okay with just getting a 15.
It's just, that's what it is. You should have worked for a little bit more. I don't know. And you know what's really weird? That we only tip, or more like society only feels okay to tip if it's within the food industry. Why aren't retail workers getting tipped? If I go into a retail shop and I tell the person, hey, I don't know what I want to get, this is a gift for so-and-so, please help me out, I'm clueless. And they help me out, they style a whole outfit, why am I not tipping them? Why isn't there a thing at the end where it's who helped you? Well, they do say who helped you, but where does that go? That always happens at Sephora, but does Sephora get commission? Well, maybe Sephora's a bad example. So what if I went to Forever 21 and I was like, please help me, I'm clueless, I'm going to this 90s party, please help me, and the person helps me. At the end, they're not going to ask me for the person's name. They're just going to be like, here's your total. Unless you're in designer clothing, you don't get commission. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if the people at Sephora get commission. If they do, amazing, great, because they helped me match my foundation or whatever. I don't know. Well, no, they didn't, but they might have helped someone else. Let's talk about tipping on drinks. If I go to a bar and the drink is $8, regular sports bar, I got a vodka tonic, $8. You're gonna get $1. That's just what it is. If I go to a nice place and the cocktail's $20, I'm not gonna tip you 20%. I'm not gonna tip you 20% on a cocktail. If I go to a restaurant and I get a cocktail and I get a whole meal, I am going to subtract the cocktail amount and I'm only going to tip on the actual food amount. I am gonna tip, for making the cocktail, but that's crazy that I'm tipping an extra 20, because we're in LA, $20 extra for one drink, and I'm supposed to tip 20% on that drink? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me, am I just being stingy? But what do you guys do? If you're a food delivery driver and you actually follow all of my steps, which means getting out of your car, putting in my code building, going up the flight of stairs to get to my apartment, dropping off the food, you're getting a tip. You're absolutely getting a tip every single time. And if you don't follow those rules and you make me meet you outside, you're still getting a tip, but you're getting a lesser tip. You didn't follow my rules. So you don't want to do all that. You shouldn't have taken my order. You can decide. But for real, let me know if I'm being stingy. Cause like...
No, I don't feel like you being stingy. Honestly, I feel like you being still nice. Because in some of those situations where you say, you probably still get a tip, it's just not going to be a good tip. Some people wouldn't give one at all. So, there's my hot take on it.
This is just what I've been doing. And maybe I'm wrong.
At the end of the day, regardless of what anybody say, a tip is not mandatory. It has never been mandatory. Ever. So if you did make it to the end of today's video, don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss no content from me in the future. So with that being said, I'll see y'all in my next upload. Bye y'all.